Welcome to Second Saturday. My name is Professor Alfonso Severos. Everyone has a perspective about social media, and regardless of your views, no one can deny its impact and significance. Social media has changed the way we interact and live our lives. I must confess, I'm a big fan of Facebook and social media. For me, its power lies in its ability to keep me connected with family, friends, and especially my former students. It allows me to have a sideline view of the challenges, accomplishments, and the directions they're taking in their lives. For an educator like me, it's an awesome, rewarding experience, especially when I see young people taking charge and not only redefining, but also recreating themselves in a positive manner in this global world. And that is so very important. My special guest today is one of my former students, a young, bright, energetic Afro-Latina woman named SAUDY. SAUDY, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's been a while since we had the opportunity to talk.
Yes, it's been a while. Almost 7 years. And
Wow.
It's great to see you. So
Time goes by.
Yep.
Now, you told me that you just landed your dream job.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about this job and the institution it's with and how did it come about.
Wow, where do I begin? I couldn't be happier at this moment. Currently, I work at the Schomburg Center in Harlem.
I am already jealous.
It is part of the New York Public Library system.
Right.
And I basically do, I manage membership at the Schomburg as well as membership at the Library for Performing Arts in Lincoln Center. So I get to split my time between Midtown and Harlem, and
not a bad job.
You get the best of both worlds.
You do the same work at both positions, or is there any difference in what you do at the Schomburg as opposed to Lincoln Center?
Well, membership at the Schomburg is much bigger than actually the New York Public Library for Performing Arts. We have We have over close to 10,000 members nationwide.
I would have never thought that.
Yes, nationwide. It's not just.
I'm impressed.
Yes,
I would never have thought that the membership was that big.
Yeah. It's pretty big, and so there's tons to do, including like mailing, events for our members, and customer service, and it goes beyond. I mean, development. You also need to be strategic and creative every day on how to bring your donors closer to the mission. So I love what I do, and it took some time to figure out where I wanted my career to go, but I am glad to be at this great institution, which is actually the world's leading research institution in research for Black culture.
I know. It's started by Arturo Alfonso Schomburg.
Yes, and a lot of people don't know about him and his history and what he has contributed. And it's surprising to me, but I always take the time to just go over with them like who Arturo Schomburg is.
Right.
And it's fascinating how many people do not know what he has accomplished.
He was born in Santos, Puerto Rico.
Yes. So he was born in Puerto Rico. His mother was from the islands, and his father was a German merchant. And when he was in 5th grade, his teacher told him that blacks have no history. Yes.
Yeah, that's a familiar line, but go ahead.
And he basically dedicated his entire life to traveling the world, finding every piece of document, book, arts, and artifacts, manuscript, to prove his teacher wrong.
Right.
So he was part of the Harlem Renaissance, eventually winded up in Harlem, and collected over 10,000 items.
I know that was
Yes.
the beginning. He donated that to the library, am I correct?
It actually was purchased by the Carnegie Foundation. There was big effort in trying to get his collection to the library in Harlem, which eventually became the Schomburg Center. And today it holds over 10 million items.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot.
yes, 10 million items. And this is we have a lot of free programs for the community. These items are accessible to the community for free. And a lot of people don't know it's there.
I know.
We have an auditorium, we have 2 exhibitions, art exhibition spaces, and this is fascinating because when I first started working there, I felt like this aura in this place, and it was just the happiest moment of my life because this is my passion,
Right.
especially my passion lies in Afro-Latino history and studies of Afro-Latinos, because stemming from my own experience, which I'll get into later.
Okay.
But the first day is just this aura, and when I walk in through the lobby, it was explained to me that Langston Hughes' ashes are actually buried
Right.
on this beautiful cosmogram on the floor.
Rivers.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So it's just like, this is beautiful, and a lot of people don't know it's here. So I always try to like spread the word to my friends, colleagues, to come on by, and we have tons of free programs. I mean, we're winding down the season now, but starting in January, there'll be tons of programs.
I know. Now, is the changing demographics of both East and West Harlem, is that impacting the library in any way, the Schomburg?
Well, we are seeing a diverse audience, a more diverse audience, but we still have a very good turnout for all of our events, and it's, you see a lot of support from all kinds of people.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. How did you get this job? How did you
I
come
can't
about
tell
it?
you my secrets.
Just share a little. Tell me.
Well, I mean, I think as a child, I've always been, you've heard about The Secret.
Yes.
And channeling your energy and into really creating your destiny. I feel like we're in control, well, at least a good percentage of it can be, controlled by, the things
Sure.
that, you have to have a goal, you have to have a vision. So I learned that at a very early age, and I got my bachelor's, and I actually took 4 years off after my bachelor's because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right, that was from Fordham, correct?
Yes.
And what was your
And
major at Fordham?
History.
History.
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. It was a safe major, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Then I started looking back at my upbringing, and I was just grateful for all the nonprofit organizations that, influenced my life. It was a struggle growing
Sure,
up.
absolutely.
And all of these nonprofit organizations. My mom was a single mom with me, my brother, my sister, and these nonprofit organizations had such a strong impact on me and influencing my life. And
Absolutely.
yes. I mean, in terms of providing extracurricular activities, tutoring, physical activities, and I was a very active child.
From what I remember, you did not need much tutoring, but we'll
Yes,
skip
but
over that.
it basically, definitely was a positive reinforcement in my life. So with that in mind, I decided to get my master's degree at the New School with a focus on nonprofit management. So it took a while to really connect with what I really wanted to do, and I wanted to do something I was passionate about, something
Right.
that moves me, and it winded down to nonprofit work. And I got my master's at the New School, and I felt like this was 2011, and I felt like I had to really build my career from there. Even though I've been experienced in other sectors, I really had to start from scratch.
Sure.
So I had to, basically the first opportunity that came knocking on my door was with the Bronx River Alliance, and they're doing great work in taking back the polluted river.
Right. Preservation.
Yes, preservation. And this was a great opportunity because it was like a grassroots organization, and I also had multiple roles. So I feel like because you have to juggle so much at a smaller nonprofit, you're exposed to different areas.
Right.
And I was able to get that kind of experience, which allowed me what I you know, which gave me a better sense of what I love to do and what area I want to focus on.
Right.
So I was there for quite some time, and I actually went on a trip to Cuba.
Oh, we got to talk about
Oh,
that. We're coming back to Cuba. You know, I'm not going to let you
yes,
leave here
yes.
without speaking about Cuba. But
Yes,
go ahead,
yes.
finish the.
It was towards the end of the year and into earlier this year, and it reignited my passion for the African diaspora. And this resonates so much with me because my entire life, I never learned about my history or my culture at home or at school.
Yeah.
So it was, I feel like, especially for Latinos, we go through this like identity crisis growing up because
Right.
we come in all colors and, you know,
Absolutely.
yes, and we don't know much about it. And, you know, my family's from the Dominican Republic, and there was a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of issues that have happened in the
Sure,
past and
sure.
in the present and the future. But part of a lot of my writings in my master's degree was on how I actually connected to my history and my culture when I went on a study abroad trip to the Dominican Republic while I was at Hostos. And
Right, right.
yes,
Yes, I remember
and I
that.
went on a study abroad trip to Italy.
Oh, yeah, of course I
Yeah,
remember that because
yeah.
I went with you.
But growing up, traveling, I didn't get a chance to travel much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
so it was during my trip to the Dominican Republic that we did some final projects, and I helped actually this other group do their project. And it was this, you know, of course I love to dance. So
Yeah.
everyone knew I love to dance, and they asked me, Saudi, you love to dance. Is it possible for you to help us out with our final project? I was like, sure. So I invited a friend to join me, and we practiced for the choreography, and there was someone that was going to be playing the drums. But there was a storytelling project, and basically they took out a sign and they said, I am Taino Indian, and they acted it out in the whole space, and they were like, and I was here before anybody else was, and they had the costumes and everything, and then they put it in a big cooking pot, and then they took another sign out and they said, I am Spanish, I came here as a conquistador, and they put it in the pot, and then they said, I am African, I came here as a slave, put it in the pot, and then they mixed it up with a spoon, and then they said, I am Dominican. Yes. And then I
Pretty
started
creative.
dancing
Yes.
to someone who was playing the drums, and then I was just like, it was like an aha moment for me.
Okay.
And ever since then, I started to identify as Afro-Latina, and I've taken every opportunity I can to educate
Sure.
anyone who's interested in knowing about their culture and their roots, and how we have a shared history that's often not taught to us. And for like a lot of people that I know, they've been affected by the history in the Dominican Republic.
Exactly.
I mean, we're talking about Trujillo, who was a dictator in the Dominican Republic, massacred thousands and thousands of Haitians in efforts to whiten the race. And this is not too long ago. We're talking 1950s.
Yes, I know.
So I feel like this is ingrained in a lot of parents and grandparents that are coming from the Dominican Republic. So, and a lot of my family didn't get a chance to get an education, so they cannot pass that on to us about where we
happened.
come from and who we are, and especially with what happened in the Dominican Republic with Rafael Trujillo.
Exactly.
It basically ingrained racism in the country
Sure,
that still exists.
Its impact is still
Yes,
being felt in many ways.
exactly. So a lot of my research in my master's was really eye-opening, because this part of history was not taught to me. And then I realized that I went back, and I had an amazing teacher there, but I went back and she made me realize how the curriculum at school and all the books that are given to us are often one-sided, one perspective. We're not hearing from people of color, from books created by people of color. We're not learning about people of color. We're not learning about positive heroes and
Right.
yes, that have accomplished so much in history. We're not learning about that. And I talk about often in my paper on how we might learn one thing, and that one thing we learn in that history book might be slavery, and how that has a negative impact
Sure.
on students. I talk about how that has a negative impact on them. And it really was, my getting my master's degree was really, it really brought a lot of these things to consciousness, and was really a moment where I started to really
So
want to learn more about
so
the African
it must
diaspora.
have been a really great feeling when you get
Yes.
hired at Samba.
It was amazing. So going back to Cuba,
Oh, we can't skip Cuba.
yes, it reignited my passion for the African diaspora, because,
Did you travel with a group or?
yes, I did it through a cultural exchange program. I wanted to do it legally, and I always see social media as a way of spreading knowledge and education. So I didn't want to feel restricted. So
Sure.
I did do it through a cultural exchange program, and I definitely will be back. But during this trip, I was in the environmental world doing fundraising for the environmental world. And I almost feel like this passion that I have was still brewing inside of me. And,
Yeah.
I wasn't able, even though I was doing work for a nonprofit, I still had that desire to grow my passion for the learning more about the African
What impressed
diaspora.
you about Cuba the most? It could be more than one thing.
Yes.
I-
I just feel like the human spirit is still there.
Good answer.
Yes. Like, there's something that we're doing right, but there's something that they're doing right too. There's something that we're doing wrong and that they're doing, wrong. But how can we meet in the middle here? Like,
Yeah.
there, it's like a lot of people don't have cell phones or computers, and I myself don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. I mean, people
Sure.
are still connecting with each other.
Right.
Like, it's like you have a community of people, and they are all working together and helping each other out. If someone doesn't have sugar, they're knocking on someone else's door, like, they're helping each other's out with each other's resources. And I feel like, especially in this day in technology, like, we're just walking around like zombies on our
Yeah.
phone, and that human interaction is missing. And I
most.
almost feel like we're getting more socially awkward by the minute,
Right, exactly.
because that's all our younger generations are going to know, our computers and
Sure.
iPhones and iPads. And I feel like that's so important.
Did you have the opportunity to do any dancing? Because I know you love dancing when you were in Cuba.
Yes. Luckily, we were working closely with a dance company, and it's so fascinating with Cuba, because most of the people you speak to are highly educated, and they're so proud of their history. And so even if you're taking a dance class or a drumming class with someone, they'll sit there and they're so proud of their culture, and and they'll just talk to you for hours about the history of Cuba. And yes. So I did get a chance. We did get a chance to do group sessions and private sessions with some of the most amazing dancers in Cuba. Yes.
Wow, that's-
And we had a chance to do so much. There's this Rueda de Casino. It basically got started in Cuba right before the revolution. And Rueda de Casino had a huge influence on the creation of salsa.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't
So
realize that.
we had a chance to interview the founders of Rueda de Casino. Yes. But after the revolution, they felt shut off from the world. So it was almost like they didn't get the proper credit initially.
Sure.
But when people started researching salsa and where did Rueda de Casino come from, they went back to Cuba.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to meet some of
must have
these
been amazing.
founders, and ask them all these questions, and they're just amazing people. And it's so funny because they all right after the revolution, they all separated and went to the countryside, and they were like all working, and then there was like a reunion decades later,
Okay.
and now they're
Right.
one of the main people that contributed to TEJADA Casino, actually manages a dance company for youth, as well as
Well,
a venue as
Cuba
well.
has such a strong African presence and
Oh,
influence.
yes.
I mean, we can't, unless you've been there, and I have not, so I'm envious. I will one day. But unless you've been there, you don't realize how much that has influenced and is part of that culture.
Yes, yes, definitely Cuba, but I have to say that not just Cuba, you know?
Oh, yes.
You have all these other countries that have been influenced
Yeah.
by the Middle Passage. You
Yes.
have over 11 million
I know.
slaves that got transported south
know.
of Miami. Only 500,000 came to the
Right.
U.S.
Most people don't realize those numbers.
Only half a
A
million
came here.
Yes.
And over
So,
11.5 million went to the Caribbean and South America.
Caribbean and South America. So we're talking about the creation of a new culture, music, food, everything has been influenced.
Sure.
And I feel like it's, you know, I feel like a lot of people don't realize our shared connection and our shared
Absolutely.
history. And I think
Absolutely.
that's so important because for me, it breaks my heart to see a teenage, you know, a teenager run around, very dark-skinned teenager, saying things like, I'm not black, I'm Dominican.
Yeah,
You know? It's like, obviously, he does not know
sure.
his history.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
knowing your history is empowering.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So this trip really reinforced my passion for the African diaspora.
Well, that's not the only trip now.
Yes.
Well, at least that's what I heard.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm just getting back from New Orleans, or Nolans.
Nolans.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think that like with my world travels, this is not world travels, but I've been to Brazil. I've been to other places in the
Just
world.
don't say that
and-
so lightly. I mean, Brazil is still on my bucket list. Tell
Yes,
me about that
yes.
experience real quick.
Oh my goodness. It's like my passion for the African diaspora. I mean, it influences my travels as
Yes.
well because I feel like I want to learn more and I am kind of like the hands-on learner where it's better to instead of reading about it just experience it, you
Right.
know? And when I went to Brazil, I went to Salvador,
Oh.
which is 80% of African descendants. 80%. So this section of Brazil is usually called Little Africa outside of Africa. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, the music, the people, the food, it was just an amazing experience. But also the remnants of our history. I mean, you go to the Pelourinho. This is where Michael Jackson shot his video. They don't really care
Yeah.
about us.
Right,
Yes, yes. But it's just like restaurants and I think it was Tuesday nights. There's these drummers that parade the area.
That's the drummers in the video.
Some of them,
Some
yeah,
of them.
yeah. And then basically everyone comes out of the restaurants and joins them and just dancing all over, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's
So it's really interesting how your passion and your travels sort of coincide with now your work.
yeah. I just feel like I think it's important to find what moves you
Yeah.
and really invest your energy into this.
Wow.
Because even when I was working for the Environments Organization, one of the things I love to do is dance, and I also DJ.
Yeah, I know. DJ, what is it? DJ Jane?
DJ Jungle Jane.
Jungle Jane.
And that's another story, but
Right.
it focuses on world music. I worked at an international venue, and I realized how there was bands from all over the world.
Right.
Japan, Haiti.
Sure.
And I didn't realize, like, I mean, I was excited to hear all this new sounds and music, and I would have never heard it if I wasn't working there. I would have never heard it on the radio. I mean, 3% of music created in the nation is rotated on the radio.
Wow. It's amazing.
So we're programmed to like the music that we like.
I believe that.
So part of the Jungle Jane's mission
Is
is,
to change
you know,
that.
with my travels, I'm exposed to beautiful music from all over the world. I try to collect music, and I can't run away from commercial music, you know? But it's bringing both worlds together.
Okay. Look, we're running out of time so
Already?
quick. Yes. But I cannot let you leave here without telling me about the other side of you. Sports.
Sports. I've always been athletic. Like I said, growing up, there was these nonprofit organization and teams at school that I participate in.
But you're a pretty good athlete now.
Yeah. I
And you
was
can-
on the cross country team, a track team when I was in high school. I felt like, you know, that's always been my strength.
And now you compete in.
I'm actually an elite triathlete, and I do triathlons on
And
my spare time.
that is composed of. what three-
Swimming, biking, and running.
Okay, so you have to
Yes.
swim how long? How many miles?
So with triathlons, there are 4 different levels, or 4 types of races. You know, you have the sprint, which is the shortest, and then you have Olympic, which is double that distance, and then you have half Ironman, and then you have a full Ironman. So you pick your poison. Basically, I've gone as far as doing a half Ironman, which is a 1.2 mile swim, a 56-mile bike ride, followed by a half marathon, which is a 13-mile run.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. How did you get into this?
Well, once high school and college is over, like, where are you going to channel all this energy? You know?
There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's like you still want to be part of a team and you want to train for some races, and basically triathlon was it. I always felt like also having the 3 different sports would also be entertaining for me, because I tend to get like, you know, with just one.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to go.
Yes, sorry, we're running out of time. We have to do this again to continue this conversation.
Yes, I feel like I can talk to you forever.
I can listen forever. I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. I hope you enjoyed the show, and remember to like us on Facebook at Second Saturday TV, or like us on YouTube at Second Saturday TV with Alfonso Severos. Until we meet again on the next Second Saturday.